In addition to the PowerPoint, if you could also see my video, I have the devices with me. So I'll be doing a live demonstration or show and tell. And again, please feel free to interrupt at any time. So we're going to start off with our mobile solutions, our laptop. This year, there are 4 different models that the university has selected that you will be able to choose from. So the first 2 are very similar to one another. It's our ThinkPad X1 Carbon and our ThinkPad Yoga. So on the left side, it's the black device on the slides. It's the device I'm holding in my hands here. This is your X1 Carbon. So this is a super light device. It's only 2.5 pounds. We were able to make it that light without sacrificing on durability because it's made with carbon fiber, hence the name. So the top cover is going to be made out of carbon fiber, and the bottom cover is going to be made out of aluminum. All the ports on the laptops you'll see today are the same. So on this side, you'll see there's a dual USB-C ports. These are Thunderbolt capable. So you can not only charge your device in either port, but you can also transmit data or connect to displays. You'll also notice there's a USB-A port here, and then an HDMI port. On the other side, there's another USB-A port, and then your audio jack. And again, those ports are going to be the same throughout our entire lineup. So coming back to the X1 Carbon, some features you'll notice. This is a 14-inch display. That being said, it's in the footprint of a 13-inch laptop because of the super narrow bezels. And it was 11 o'clock at night before he saw it.
Yeah, I didn't see it until after the podcast day before I went home last night.
Hey, Pam, can you mute?
Hey, can y'all mute?
That one's already. That one, and we're not putting it in the digital sign and show you, which is
Stephanie, you can mute Pam.
We got a law, and we did about the that one's all set.
Hey, I'm taking this next door to get those 4 names at the bottom to sign, Doug, Stephanie, and
Good luck. They're all on the meeting.
oh, okay.
Zoom meeting.
Pam,
I get
Pam,
put in front of
Pam,
them,
you
but
need
they're
to
on
mute.
this Zoom meeting.
Pam, you need to mute.
Yeah, we're talking. Okay. Is that me?
Aunt Joe.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Pam, they just muted you. We heard everything you guys said.
So some of the features you'll also see on the X1 Carbon, it has up-firing speakers. So on each side of the keyboard, you'll see a tweeter on this side. And then on the bottom of the device, it has 2 subwoofers, again, one on each side. The camera is located where most laptop cameras are, and it does have what we call a think shutter. So you can slide this lever back and forth for privacy as well. The camera on the X1 Carbon is a full HD camera. Most laptops typically have an HD camera, so 720p, while this laptop will have a 1080p camera. I'll take a moment to pause. Were there any questions anybody had for the X1 Carbon?
It turns out to be a month.
Hey, Stephanie, why don't you mute everybody?
So again, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or put something in the chat. I'm going to move on to the sister.
Matt, it looks like Troy has a quick question.
Oh yeah, Troy, what's up?
Hey, Matt. So for if I frequently use a laptop in clamshell mode attached to 2 external speakers. So when you do that, how does that impact the sound from this or the microphone? Does that have any adverse effect on that?
So you'll be able to either connect to your external speakers or leverage the speakers in the device. Also, if you want to connect to an external microphone, you can do that as well. I will say that the X1 Carbon has 4 far field microphones at the very top of the device. Gives a great experience and amazing noise cancellation. I have 2 dogs myself, so when my dogs bark, it's going to hit one of those 4 microphones before the others. Whereas when I'm talking to my device, my voice is hitting the microphones at roughly the same time. And so that's how we use AI to take out, some of the noise we don't want to include on our Zoom calls. But yeah, to answer your question, you can choose between connecting to external or, leveraging the integrated speakers.
Thank you.
Awesome. So the sister device of the X1 Carbon is the X1 Yoga. It's actually the device I'm using right now to present to you. This device is very similar to the Carbon in its size and weight. It has nearly the same dimensions. It does weigh about a ½ pound more. So the Yoga is going to weigh 3 pounds while the Carbon weighs 2.5. It weighs more because this device supports inking and touch. And part of that, we have to have a glass overlay to support inking. So this is a 360-degree convertible. You can use it in tablet mode or in traditional clamshell mode or anything, in between there. I mentioned that this device supports inking. So on the side here, you'll see there's a nice garage for your pen. And that's where your active pen will store. So when it's in the device, it's charging. All you need is a 15-second charge for an hour of pen use. And this pen supports 4,096 different degrees of pressure. So it's a fantastic writing experience, and it has a home in the device. So hopefully it reduces the risk of it going missing. Just like the Carbon, it has the same ports. So on this side, it's a USB-A port and a headphone jack. And then on the other side is dual Thunderbolt ports, an HDMI port, and a USB-A port. You'll notice there's a difference in color between the traditional ThinkPad Black. This device is made entirely out of a proprietary CNC aluminum. We've patented the process of manufacturing this aluminum, which allows us to have a very thick, durable edge while a very thin top cover. And what that enables you to do is have superior drop protection against any accidental drops while still maintaining a super, super light device. Again, just like the Carbon, same speakers, you'll have your tweeters on the side of the keyboard and then your subwoofers on the bottom. It has the same camera as well. And so this will come with a touchscreen and pen. I did forget to mention both the Carbon and the X1 Yoga have a fingerprint reader that's integrated into the power button. So I'll take a moment here to pause. Were there any questions about the X1 Carbon or the X1 Yoga?
I'm sorry, I didn't. I might have missed this. Did the Carbon have touchscreen?
So the Carbon has a touchscreen available. It is not standard. So the standard model for the university is a non-touch display. We do offer, I believe it's 7 different displays on the Carbon, varying from touch, non-touch, something called e-privacy, and also higher end resolutions. So the standard model would be non-touch, but if you wanted to get touch, that could be arranged as well.
Does that come as just as a choice, or is that an additional cost on the department to do so, or how does that work?
So the Carbon Touch is not one of our standards. Our touch models are the T14, the T16, and the Yoga.
And the idea behind it is most people that would want a touch in this form factor want the Yoga.
Excellent, thank you.
Great, thank you guys. So I'm gonna move on. That was a great opportunity for a transition, Stephanie, thank you, to our T series. So the specifications on the T series are very similar to those of the X1 Yoga. So the processor, the memory, the storage is the same, but we're looking at a different form factor. So the difference between the T14 and the T16 is the size. One is a 14-inch and the other is a 16-inch. I'm holding in my hands here a T14. This is made with the same material as the carbon. It has the same touch and feel, and again, it has the same ports. Just to reiterate, it's dual Thunderbolt ports, HDMI, dual USB-A, and a audio jack as well. This device is heavier than the other two we discussed, and you will be sacrificing some audio-visual features. For one, rather than having 4 microphones across the top, you have 2 microphones, so you have a dual array. And then for the speakers, you still have a premium audio experience with Dolby Audio, but you'll notice the speaker is just 1 bar at the top of the keyboard, and there are no dual subwoofers in this model either. I will say that we've configured these to have 16 gigs of RAM soldered on the system board, and it will have an open DIMM slot. So should, several years down the road, you want to add memory, the laptop can accept additional memory, whereas on our X1 Carbon and X1 Yoga, that memory is soldered at the factory. You cannot upgrade it down the road. And let me show you its 16-inch cousin. So this device is heavier just due to the screen size. Not only are you going to get larger screen real estate, but on the keyboard, you're also going to get a 10 key. So your traditional keyboard is offset to make room for this number pad here. Really, all the features are the same. You do have your dual Thunderbolt ports, dual USB-A, HDMI. I did forget to mention both of these models have an RJ45 jack. So if you want to hardwire into your network, you're able to do that on these models. There's really not too much else different between the 14-inch and 16-inch models other than weight, screen size, and the keyboard. So let me take a moment to pause. Were there any questions about the T14 or T16?
Hi, I have a, can you say of the 4 that we've looked at, can you say which ones have the noise canceling microphones?
So they're both going to leverage AI to cancel background noise. The X1 Yoga and X1 Carbon now have 4 microphones that are 360-degree far field microphones. So the noise cancellation on those is going to be superior to the T14 and T16, which only have dual microphones.
Thank you.
Were there any other questions on these models?
Yeah, what's the weight of the T16? Oh, so I see it now. It's 3.6 pounds. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and Carter, could you just confirm the weights of these models and maybe put that in the chat?
Yes, I'm on it.
Thank you.
Do all the models come with a docking station?
They do not come with a docking station. They will share the same docking station. Oh, Stephanie, go ahead.
Yes. So yes, everyone will get a new dock with their monitor. I mean, with their laptop.
Well, that's awesome. That's much better than what I was going to say. Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, we will provide docks. There still may be some Gen 1 docks out there, so we want everybody to have the latest model.
Awesome.
So a question, how many external monitors they support, all these 4 models?
So these will support 3 independent displays. So your laptop plus 2 monitors or just 3 monitors on their own. If on the T14 or T16, you add additional memory, they can support up to 4 displays maximum. Intel's requirements for 4 displays is that both memory sockets are populated.
Is that the same for the carbon and the yoga as well?
Yes, it'll be 3 independent displays.
Independent, okay.
Yeah.
3 independent, including the display on the laptop itself, right?
Yes. So, like I'm maxing out, I have a X1 Yoga right now. I'm maxing out its display capabilities. I have the display on the laptop going plus 2 monitors. So 3 total.
Okay.
And which port does the docking station take up? One of the Thunderbolts?
Stephanie, could you confirm, are they USB-C?
Yes, they are USB-C docks.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Were there any other questions on the laptops before I move to desktops?
Yes, I have a quick one actually on the docking station that Stephanie addressed. I also use it at home, and I have the old docking station. Will this work with the what previous model docking station as well?
If you have a USB-C docking station, it will be
okay.
compatible.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Were there any other questions on the laptops or docking stations?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear with the ThinkPads, the T14 and T16. Do they have touchscreen? Because I see there here it says non-touch or touch. I didn't know which option.
Yes, we do have a touchscreen option for both.
Okay, thank you.
Great. And I can show you. I actually have one of the touchscreens with me here. You'll notice that these are still anti-glare displays. So unlike the Yoga, which has a glossy display because it requires a glass overlay for pen support, these you wouldn't be able to tell they're a touchscreen without actually touching it and looking at it. So they're great to use outside, anti-glare, anti-smudge display despite touch capability. Great. Were there any additional questions? Fantastic. And so we're going to move on now to talk about the 2 desktop options we have. So the first one is our Tiny, named because it's a tiny guy. This is a 1-liter form factor. So super small. You can mount it behind a monitor, under a desk, or just have it sitting vertical on your desk. Really, however you want to do it. On the front, you'll have a power button, a USB-C port, and then 2 USB-A and your headphone jack. If you do elect to mount this somewhere that it's hard to reach, you can turn the system on by having an external keyboard connected and pressing Control-P, and that will power on the device if you're not able to access it. On the rear, you have your power. So your power is going to be a proprietary square tip adapter that comes with the device. You have a full-size display port, a USB-A port, an HDMI port, and then 3 more USB-As. So you have a total of 6 USB-A ports. This is your RJ45 jack. And then your models will not have, actually, they will have this here where you can connect an antenna to improve the reception of your wireless internet. You'll notice, actually, this device is identical to the configuration you will purchase. There's a 3rd display port on this Tiny. So just to reiterate, for display capabilities, this model can support 3 independent displays as well, 2 full-size display ports, and an HDMI port. And let me see if I can open this up to show you the insides here. Bear with me. Hopefully I have a screwdriver next to me. Well, I probably should have planned ahead better, but I will show you there's a single screw if you ever need to open this up. I do mention that because it's super easy. This backplate removes and you can access your memory and SSDs if you ever want to upgrade it. And then there's actually a caddy in here if you wanted to add a full-size SSD, not an M.2. You're able to upgrade that on in the field and in the future. Were there any questions about the Tiny?
I don't have any questions about that, but I did want to follow up on something you said earlier. The X1 Carbon has an anti-glare screen. Is that correct? Yeah. But yeah, not the Yoga, because it's got to be glass, right?
So the Yoga does have an anti-glare screen, but it's still glossy. So that the anti-glare on the Carbon is going to be superior to the Yoga because of that glass overlay.
Okay, thank you.
Great. I will show you the other desktop option. So a little bit larger. This is a small form factor desktop. So what you're gaining with this over the Tiny, for one, is a optical drive. So if you have any DVDs, it's kind of hard to see on camera from the pattern, but we do have an optical drive where you can, insert your DVDs there. On the front, there are 4 USB-A ports, a USB-C port, and then you have a microphone and speaker 3.5 millimeter jack. I believe this is a media card reader as well on the front. On the rear, you're going to have an additional 4 USB-A ports. This also has dual full-size display ports and an HDMI port. Of course, it has your RJ45 jack for internet as well. This desktop does not have wireless internet built into it. And this one I actually am able to open without a screwdriver. And I'll open it up to show you the expandability. Should you want to add a graphics card or additional hard drives down the road, there's plenty of room in this device. You have some open PCIe lanes that you could leverage as well. Were there any questions about the desktop lineup, our Tiny and small form factor? Great. Well, so that covers the portfolio. Just to reiterate, there's 4 laptop options: an X1 Carbon, X1 Yoga, a T14 and a T16. And then on desktop side, you have a Tiny and a small form factor. So I'll open it up now. If anyone has any questions, we'd be happy to field them.
I think everybody's real familiar with the models since we've been, doing it for a few years now.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you guys for joining. If there's any additional questions, I don't know how you want to handle maybe Stephanie questions that come up in the future, but you have my contact information, and please feel free to forward that on to anyone who may need it.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. Have a great rest of your day.
So if no one has anything else, we can give you half an hour back. Thanks. Have a great day.